Good evening. My name is Mohit Joshi, and I'm talking to you today from the DW Marriott in Dubai, where we're holding our annual Finacle Conclave. I have the great pleasure and privilege to have here with me today Colin White. Colin is the Managing Director for EMEA Digital for Goldman Sachs Marcus. Thank you so much, Colin, for making time for us today.
Thank you.
Goldman Sachs Marcus has obviously been a huge success, right? Just in terms of the way it is seen as a new generation of banking. It's seen as possibly the most successful challenger bank to emerge in a long while. But while we cover that, I first wanted to start with your role and your journey. Could you tell us a little bit about your career journey?
Yeah, look, fundamentally, I'm an engineer. I've been at Goldman since 2010, almost exclusively in platform engineering types of role, where we're solving large, complicated engineering problems for the financial services industry. And I think, if I think about my career, a lot of that problem solving has been very back end, has not been very visible, and it's not been very tangible. It's been exciting, yes. But I think by moving into retail, I have the opportunity to solve equally challenging engineering problems at scale, right. But it's much more tangible, coming to market with something that real customers are engaging with. It sort of adds that extra level of fulfillment for me anyway, as an engineering leader. It's pretty good.
It is highly visible, and it has been extremely successful. I think for most people, when they think about Goldman Sachs and Marcus, the thing is, if you went back 10 years in the past and you told people that they might have a Goldman Sachs savings account, people would be completely shocked, right? So I think the vision behind Marcus is of great interest. So can you tell us a little bit about the original vision behind Marcus, coming from such a storied capital markets name like Goldman?
Well, look, I think the original concept, right, was to be able to bring products to consumers that solve problems that consumers have in terms of managing their finances.
Right.
And I think what we've done so far is we've brought a number of offerings to the marketplace that are simple, they're understandable, yes. They have a value proposition, and they solve a pain point for customers in a language that customers understand. I think don't underestimate how hard it is to make those things as simple as they right. are. Like just something as simple as creating an account in under 3 minutes. Right. Getting that right from an engineering perspective at scale is really hard. But I think we are backed by 150 years of experience in finance. We're backed by a very strong engineering organization,
yes.
That really has been able to turn their hand to the 24/7 consumer businesses very, very well indeed, and I think we're proud of what we've done to date. We're proud of what's to come, and looking forward to solving customer pain points in other areas of the industry.
So essentially, this this vision about creating compelling consumer experience in financial services is the guiding vision behind Marcus. It is simplicity and intuitive user interface, speed, which has really driven the agenda behind Marcus.
Yes, and as we look forward, I think nothing is off the table. If we have an idea that will solve a customer pain point, and we feel that being Goldman Sachs, we have a competitive advantage to go after it, then I think it's something we'll absolutely look at. As we look forward, any number of possibilities exist. I think that in the current climate, what we're going to see is increasing use of APIs, particularly in the open banking sector. And so we're kind of laser focused on the customer experience.
Yes.
We're thinking with an API first mindset. We're adopting cloud with open arms, and really laser focused on finding things that solve pain points for customers.
No, and I can attest to the fact, Colin. I think I mentioned that I opened a Marcus account about a year ago, right. And it has been remarkably simple to use and very, very efficient. So thank you for that.
Right. I mean, I have the first account, and,
Yes.
and as the first account holder, I remember it taking us about 2 weeks to work through that first onboarding.
Right.
And then I saw the second account get opened, and having taken 2 weeks to open the first one, the second one was opened in 3.5 minutes. And so, you know, we're very proud of how we managed to kind of tune and optimize and keep that journey simple, but also build the scale behind it. Obviously, on the first day we opened that offering, we took over 13,000 accounts. We took over 50,000 accounts in the first 10 days. And some of that is due to the effort and the attention to detail that went in on the engineering side.
No, that's very obvious. To anybody who uses the platform, that is very obvious that a lot of thought has gone behind every single pixel that you see on the screen. So that leads me to my next question, right? Traditionally, in every bank, and including, I'm sure, Goldman Sachs, you've historically had a fairly clear delineation between people who are business people, the traders, the salespeople, and people who are technology people, right? But in the case of Marcus, it has to be different because essentially you don't have any distribution outside the platform, and the platform really is the offering to the client. So how do you ensure that business and technology can work seamlessly, because that is so critical to the success?
So Marcus was one of the first businesses at Goldman Sachs where the business and engineering teams were in the same space, were on the same floor. We created an agile first culture where we collaborate on all levels of design, right from the lowest level of design up to how the business flows work. And actually, more recently, we've just moved all of the engineers directly into the consumer division. That partnership has worked incredibly well. And the model is now being applied to other divisions at GS. And I think that it's part of our cultural approach that engineers and business team members alike are really together under one roof.
And you find that business folks are now getting much more interested in technology, and tech folk are talking about basis points and comparative market position.
Yeah, that's right. But if I think about our team, I think that our business folk started with quite a high degree of technology knowledge and vice versa. That dynamic's been working incredibly well. I see a very high degree of partnership. As we go through agile sprint planning, we have business folk and engineers alike. Really, the boundary is very blurred now.
Well, thank you again, Colin. Thank you for your time. And I must say that Marcus has been such an area of deep interest in the entire banking industry. Any bank that you meet anywhere in the world is so keen to follow your story, partly because of the Goldman heritage, but mostly I think because it has been so successful coming out of the gate. So thank you for sharing your story and the story of Marcus.
No problem. Thank you.